Hej, hoj, hola, привет, 안녕, cześć, kamarjoba. So, Valentine's Day was all over the place. Personally, I always thought it was a bit strange. I mean, why do we need one day a year just for giving gifts and saying sweet stuff to our loved ones? Wouldn't it be nicer if we did that more often, like every week or even every day? What do you think? Do you agree, or do you actually like February 14th? Today we are diving into the lives of some really special people who didn't need a special day to show their love because they did it every single day. We are talking about the authors of the Love is comic strips. Let's check out the story of their success, their tough times, and all the incredible events that unfolded their lives. Let's start.
The real name of the author behind the world-famous Love is Pictures is Marilyn Grove. Born in 1941 in New Zealand, she left her hometown of Auckland just a year after reaching adulthood, embarking on a journey to explore the world. Initially moving to Australia, she then traveled extensively throughout Europe, before settling in the United States at the age of 26. It was in the US where Marilyn found her true love, proving that sometimes the desire to change one's surroundings can lead to unexpected and wonderful discoveries. They crossed paths in 1967 at a ski club in Los Angeles. The young Italian Roberto Casali was quickly captivated by the romantic blonde, Marilyn Grove. Despite their 4-year age gap, their connection was undeniable, and age became insignificant in the face of their profound feelings for each other. After 2 months of dating, it happened. It was a sudden realization that practically hit her over the head. She realized that she loved him. In those days, before the era of mobile phones, SMS, and messaging apps with a plethora of emojis, expressing feelings of love was a bit more challenging. However, inspired by her deep affection, the girl embarked on a quest to subtly convey her overwhelming emotions. Each note or letter addressed to Roberta was meticulously adorned with a small drawing, a tender touch that added an extra layer of affection to their communication. As they started living together, Marilyn introduced a new charming tradition, throwing napkins to her beloved, each adorned with an image of a freckled blonde girl and a brunette boy. These napkins were strategically placed in various spots on the table, in drawers, in a briefcase, in a jacket pocket, or tucked under her pillow. Marilyn's intention was for Roberta to stumble upon these delightful surprises by chance, eliciting a smile and prompting him to reflect on their shared love. Roberto received his first message adorned with the image of the world-famous girl in 1967 via mail. Here's the postcard with the first image of a girl in love. The weekend would be much better if you were here too. See you later. The year is 1967, copyright loveiscartoon.com. Marilyn sent it while she went skiing alone for a few days. Touched by her gesture, Roberto cherished the note and kept it safe. He valued these expressions of love so much that he even shared them with his friends, who were equally impressed and encouraged him to consider publishing them for a wider audience to enjoy. In 1968, the girl got a job at the reception of a printing company. She never considered herself a real artist, but she listened to the opinions of her loved ones and decided to publish her work. Marilyn designed the illustrations in a small booklet with the inscription "Love is When" and began to sell them to colleagues for $1. Surprisingly, many people liked the lovesick couple. The trial run was sold out, and then again and again. In 1969, the girl finally agreed to try to sell the drawings to a newspaper. It was influenced by the fact that the booklet purchased as a wedding gift received a lot of positive reviews among the guests. The author decided to publish them under the pseudonym Kim. The hit was 100%. Readers immediately appreciated the comics and began to cut them out of the newspaper as a souvenir. In the same year, the first merch appeared, plastic plates. Unexpectedly for her, the work of the cartoonist fraudster, as Kim called herself, turned out to be more popular than the works of millions of artists in the United States. Roberto quickly realized the potential of comics and began producing them, leaving his job as a computer engineer. And he was not mistaken, Dutch drawings began to gain wild popularity. In the autumn of 1970, Roberto proposed to his beloved. Surprisingly, before saying yes, the girl put forward a serious condition. Her father passed away when Kim was young, so when Roberto asked her to marry him, she asked him not to do whatever he wanted, but not to pass away before her. He laughed and promised that he would try. In the summer of 1971, the couple officially legalized their relationship. She was 30 and he was 26. They were married in the bride's homeland, Auckland, in the same chapel as her parents. For the most important day of her life, Kim chose an unusual piece of jewelry. Instead of expensive gems, her head was decorated with a wreath of daisies and a simple veil, exactly the same one that she had previously come up with for the drawn Kim. The newlyweds spent their honeymoon in Tahiti. The girl had always dreamed of a large family, so the addition was not long in coming. First her son Stefano was born, and then his brother Dario. By that time, the Casali family had moved to the UK. They were young, happy, successful, and incredibly wealthy. Comics were so loved by the public that by the mid-1970s, the production of Love Is had conquered the world, had been released in 50 countries, and had been translated into 25 languages. Casali's annual income at the peak of the success was £5 million. A boy and a girl in love could be found on t-shirts, mugs, bags, postcards, in newspapers, magazines, comics, and albums. Alas, this beautiful love story was not destined to last long. 4 years after the wedding, 30-year-old Roberto was diagnosed with cancer. Happiness, which had previously seemed boundless, began to inexorably slip through his fingers. Kim spent all her time with her husband, abandoning business and creativity. She consulted, looked for good specialists, and new methods of treatment. Comics under her pseudonym were temporarily assigned to draw British artist Bill Asprey. Unfortunately, the surgery that the doctors had hoped for did not help. She passed away a year later in 1976. Along with her beloved, Kim also irrevocably lost her inspiration. Her last illustration was an image of a grieving girl near a tombstone. She didn't draw anymore. This should have been the end of their romance, but in the summer of 1977, the story of the Casali family again thundered around the world. To everyone's surprise, the young widow gave birth to a boy conceived and carried after her husband's passing. As it turned out, although Roberto did not keep his pre-wedding promise, he still fulfilled Kim's New Year's wish. He froze the sperm to give his wife a third child. She underwent several IVF treatments and gave birth to her son, Milo, 16 months after the funeral. At the time, it was something incredible, unthinkable, and scandalous. One of the first such babies on the planet was immediately dubbed the Miracle Child. The news hit all the newspapers and even attracted the attention of the Vatican, which called such an act contrary to evangelical morality. Various experts zealously debated whether it was legal and, most importantly, moral to give birth to children from an already deceased person. But the mother herself did not listen to anyone. She was so excited that she drew a postcard of a smiling Kim pushing a stroller in front of her. Since then, Kim has devoted herself entirely to her family. In the mid-1980s, she moved to Australia with her children and purchased a farm near Sydney. For several years, the woman bred Arabian horses, but in 1990, she decided to return back to the UK. Casali's widow was also not destined to live to old age. In some ways, the artist repeated the fate of her husband. She fell ill with cancer and passed away in 1997 at the age of 55. Mini Kim was headed by the eldest son Stefano Casali, and Bill Asprey continued to create famous comics. Even after 50 years, the Love Is comics continue to captivate fans. Just as before, people are drawn to the simplicity of the drawings and the profound meanings behind the accompanying inscriptions. After all, relationships and life itself are made up of these cherished moments that touch the heart and soul. The enduring appeal of love lies in its ability to capture the essence of these moments, reminding us of the beauty and significance found in everyday experiences and emotions.